Hello, everybody. AJ here. We are fresh back from our missionary cruise. It was cool. It was cool. I have some thoughts about changing it next time over. Verifying audio. 1 second. It was cool. All right, I'm hearing the audio fine. So, yeah, it was cool. It was cool. I'm sorry, I'm kind a little bit distracted right now, but hey, we're gonna power through that. I hope y'all are doing well. If you weren't able to come, hey, you missed out. I didn't put a video together because honestly, I literally when we got back off the ship and I turned my phone on, it just started going crazy. Honestly, like in the last 72 hours. Sorry, I'm turning my fan on. In the last 72 hours, I've had like 12 projects come in. So I had to book an emergency quick turnaround flight to Atlanta. So I'm getting ready to go to that. I think I'm leaving out Sunday or something like that. And I'm be there from like Sunday to Tuesday, or I might have mixed my days up. Then got a project going to Boston for about a week, then back to Baton Rouge, then to North Carolina, then to Delaware. So thankful, bouncing around, just keeping myself busy. But we are. Let me before we get into all the formal stuff. Thank y'all so much for stopping by. If I don't get to your question, know that you can email me at questions@ajayhomes.com. Want to give a big shout out. And I have to update this because Lynn just joined this, but I want to give a big shout out to all my Patreon supporters and YouTube members. Let me go ahead and get this done now. There are some new Patreons because, again, I haven't had a chance to add them. So, again, if your name is not here, charge it to my head, not my heart. I'm going to update this and just thank you so much. You too can become a patron by going to patreon.com/AJaytheCEO. You can get started for as little as $1 a month. Or you can hit the join button down below here on YouTube and become a YouTube member. You get access to being entered into all of our giveaways 2 times more than anybody else. Also, I do roundtables. If you're not able to join, you're able to join that. I release content to them first before it comes public to everybody else. And we got a bunch of other things as well, too. We knocked out 5 new chapters in the book. So we moving. This AI dictation is making it a whole lot easier. Instead of me sitting down typing, I can just talk and then just correct some of the things that is missing. So that's speeding up the process as well too. But what was I getting ready to say? Oh yeah. After the missionary cruise, just gonna put a heads up. More information is gonna come with this. And why does it look like my camera's out of focus? Give me 1 second. Oh, I'm on the wrong ATEM. Come on now. There we go. All right, let's autofocus. There we go. Now it looks better in focus. But we have a few things here. Let me go here, and I want to show you. This is what we're going to be planning in the future. Am I straight? Yeah. All right. So I have placed some stuff here in the group, and we have. Where's it at? I know I put it in here. Yeah, we had some. I had to break out Mjolnir because somebody was posting 119 ads for their photo studio in the group, and they are banned for like 3 lifetimes, posting some nonsense. But where is it at? Oh yeah, here it is. So what I'm thinking about doing, folks, because I know some people aren't in the cruise thing, and I don't want to wear it out. The missionary cruise is going to be every other year. So next cruise is going to be in 2025. Look for that information. I'm going to put that out so people can plan ahead. Just set aside $50 a month, $100 a month, whatever it is. It's always going to be typically between a Monday and Thursday to hopefully avoid any of our media ministry responsibilities. But what we're planning for next year, it is an all-inclusive either to this resort in Jamaica or this other one in Montego Bay, a Hilton all-inclusive. Again, I don't always want it to be on a boat, but we're going to be trying to do different stuff. We're going to go to different islands. It might be in the States, might be in Europe. So any of our folks that are in Europe or on the West Coast, we are making our circles. I was originally looking at doing something in Scottsdale, Arizona. But anyway, that's what's there. My whole vision of this is to start a media ministry appreciation month, week, whatever. If I could afford to pay for all of y'all, I would. The best thing I can do is at least set up a group or some type of at discounted prices so that hopefully y'all can come and enjoy. We didn't have no meetings. We didn't have no stuff. We hung out and had dinner, but that was mainly it. I maybe past Brian and John and Pastor Alicia and some other folks there, but that was it. It was meant to relax. The last 2 days, I think I slept. I have forced myself to sleep more than anything. But anyway, that's enough about that. Let's get to some of these questions. Thank y'all so much for stopping by. I actually answered this one already in the comments, but we'll address it from Cares of the Covenant, and my monitor is in the way. There we go. Have been using the EOS M50 since 2020, using the EOS utility, USB cable to OBS. I've streamed well over an hour without the camera shutting down or off. Starting to use the HDMI to AT Mini Pro, just looking. ATEM multi-view camera is shutting down in about 30 minutes. Replaced SD card. I used wired power source. Green indicator on top right of the camera is flashing green. Never had that before. Once in error, left camera on overnight and it screen. Now, again, I have no way of proving this to be 100% accurate, but I remember testing out using that utility at first. Hopefully it's not in beta anymore. I was messing with it when it was beta. So how that worked, that utility was made for cameras that weren't meant for long form content, long form video content. So from a programming standpoint, most likely those earlier DSLRs, they always had a limit on how long they can record, as well as it overheated. So it shut down for that very same reason. Even my Sony EV10 that is made for vlogging does not go for extended periods of time like that without it overheating. It does last. I think the longest I've used it for is 2 hours. But again, what I think, because again, these cameras were not built for this, I think in that program, what it's doing is disabling some of its battery and heat management stuff so that it can work. But when you go out of HDMI, you're using it just like it defaultly is. So it could overheat and it shuts down to protect that, or it just lasts. That's my assumption from that. So that's the most I can give you with that. Again, going through HDMI is bypassing all of the stuff that utility may be changing to the camera so that it can work. Because that utility was a hack to get Canon cameras to work like that. And then just a follow-up question, because somebody else asked this as well. What 3 camcorders would you suggest for reasonable price? Now, I would go with, if you're going from the bottom of the barrel, and I don't mean this in a mean way, because this is the same brand of cameras that I started out with. It is with the Sony Handycams. Am I pressing? Yeah. All right. It's the Sony Handycams. This is what I started with. This is the most recent model, the 405. This is a good camera. You need to hook it up to like a capture card or something like that. There's your HDMI out to connect to it. This camera is good, but you need to have good lighting, just like the Canon camera that I used to recommend that they don't even make anymore. I think it's the R800. They don't even make that. They sunset that model. This camera is good, but you need to have good lighting. So if you expect to have like candlelight lighting in your sanctuary, this is not going to be good. But this is a good start. The very next one after that is going to be, I've always mentioned this one before, is the Panasonic V770. That is a 4K. No. I'm looking at the wrong one. That is a $500 camera right there. I've used that for a long time. I actually had that one and then gifted that to Josh. I don't know if Josh has traded it in for some new Apple product or not, but that's the one that I gave him, and that's been working fine. And then the next one, if I had to have a high tier after that, that is the Canon G50. I don't know if they've replaced it with something else. I don't know if a 60 is out now or anything like that, but that's the one I was using for a long time. And honestly, actually, they do have a G60 now. Not exactly sure the difference of quality and stuff like. Oh, it's actually a G70 now. Because I'm looking at having a couple of these cameras when I'm doing graduations, because they're rugged, they last for a long time, and camcorders are just meant for long time recording, not DSLRs. Those would be my three options from a camera standpoint. Let's see. Keith is kind of in agreement there. He says he has two of the V770s personally and use them for events and temporary fire service. Very nice cameras. Had them for like 8 years. Awesome. Darius, good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well, AJ. Take care of yourself. I appreciate that, y'all. And again, all of y'all who've reached out when I did my podcast talking about I'm running on empty, I did that. Yes, that's stuff that a lot of us face. I really talked about it mainly because I want it to be known that if anybody is feeling that way, including me, you're not alone. I did that just like I've done videos originally on YouTube, because at the time when I was looking, there wasn't anybody talking about this stuff from a media ministry standpoint. Now all of a sudden, now it's tons of people all over the place. But again, I just that podcast is meant to talk about issues that are not always technical. Sometimes it's like, just real talk. It's like I'm at a point right now just in life from what I'm doing is I really have to reevaluate why I do what I do. Not that I know that I'm called to do this, but sometimes when you're doing something, this is what I've learned a long time ago. When a lot of hell comes into your life, or how did they put it? A whole lot of hell comes into your life because you're a threat. The enemy doesn't attack anybody that's not a threat. So that's what I have to keep telling myself. That's what I've heard from multiple different people. I bumped into Pastor Dan. I jumped in Pastor Daniel's live stream this morning. He was talking about that, and like 15 different people that are not connected in any way, shape, or form kind of said the same type of thing. So I'm just leaning on that. And what's the scripture? It says, cast your cares on him because he cares for you. Pretty much that has been the thing that I want to express, that at no point in time, just because I'm here and just because I have 56,000 subscribers doesn't mean that problems don't come this way and you don't get frustrated sometimes, and you don't be real talk, you don't get pissed off. It's nothing the matter with getting upset with God about stuff and questioning stuff that he does, because you can go and ask. So I just wanted to be transparent about that. So I appreciate all y'all have reached out. It is very, very, very much appreciated. But this is the stuff we talk about, the stuff that most people don't want to talk about. They always talk all this churchy stuff all around it, when really people just want to know, hey, this is hard. How am I going to trust God in these situations when all this hell is breaking loose? And it makes me want to doubt what the promises are and his word, and then people are just being nasty, but you still have to be nice and do what you're supposed to do. That's the stuff we talk about, that we talk about on the round table, but that just happened to be a moment we talked about it. Brian, hello. Brian has some great photos. He was on a cruise with him and his family, had some great photos. Did the dolphin adventure. That's another thing I have not done. Great seeing you there. Mike Jones, hey, good morning. Adam, hello. Let's see. Sean, good morning. Norm, good morning. Daryl, hello. Treasure. So I think I sent you that same link. Those are the three cameras that I would recommend. But at the beginning, it would be that Sony Handycam. That is like the sub 250. Anthony, what's going on? Talking back and forth with Earl. I've noticed this as well too. Like, I am streaming right now with the last few months, I have not been using the web presenter because it's been caching like crazy. I have no idea why that is. And that's when it was doing this morning. I'm still streaming with it. I stream it to Vimeo, and that's what's going to my website right now. And it was giving me a caching issue as well, too. And I really don't know. I thought it was my network. I rewired it. I redid a bunch of things, and it's not that. And it was caching this morning. So now my A10 Mini Pro is actually doing the streaming, and it's not having an issue. It's not caching up. I really don't know why it's doing that. But like, if you ever notice, I play around with this as well too. This is my A10 Mini Pro is actually doing the stream. So I stream here to my website as well too. This is through Vimeo, and this is what I set this up just to test out my stuff as well too. And you see me going now into infinity from it. So my A10 Mini Pro is handling this stream to the website as well as Twitch, which is what my web presenter was doing, and it used to do YouTube. I don't know why it's doing that. Actually, let's cut back over here real quick, and let's just check out if there are any updates on that. Because I've been trying to reach out to see if there was any updates or anything like that. So this hasn't been updated since like December. And if I open up the software here, we're on that version. So it hasn't been anything new. I'm not 100% sure. Now, this is the web presenter, and I was streaming to the exact same place that I was doing, Vimeo, that my A10 Mini Pro is, and it's not having an issue. I have absolutely no idea about that. I might do a factory reset. I don't think I need to do that, but just know, again, just like that other talking point, you're not alone. I'm having the same issues, and I'm trying to figure it out myself. John, hey AJ, we used the AJA Hello encoder. Can't stream any higher than 720p to our YouTube channel. We have files, 1 gig connection. YouTube stream hangs when we try 1080 30. Any ideas? I'm not 100% sure. Let me look up that model. Oh, I keep typing my name, AJ. Hello encoder. Let's check that out. Get rid of that. Let's cut back over here. All right. Ooh, Lord. Great day. That's pretty up there. Anyway, let's see. From a tech specs, it can handle all of the encoding. I am not 100% sure. Just now, if you're streaming to YouTube, did you make a new streaming key with what's the bit rate? Because let me see if I can show you what that does. Yeah, I'll make it and then just get rid of it. Let me go to AJ Espanol. We do have AJ the CEO Espanol, which is a new channel. What in the world? Yeah, YouTube and all this other stuff is just kind of crazy. The content that is perfectly fine with showing now. So anyway, so if I start here, and one thing you want to do, say I want to go live. Oh, I haven't even, this is a new channel. I never turned this on. So let's go somewhere else so I can set this up. Thank you for subscribing. And let me go to a channel I have not used, AJ Tesla Smile. This was my Tesla one, and I just haven't done nothing with it because I'm too busy, and I haven't requested it here. I need a channel. Let's go to Formation Sports. I haven't streamed any games in quite a while. So let's go here to go live, and we're going to schedule a stream. So I'm just going to do something new. What in the world? That's strange. Anyway, I'm just going to do this, and let's set one up. I'm going to keep it private because I just want to show one component that you can do. And I've done this for different things. So you have this default key, and you can make different ones. I have one just for this. I have one for CPP that I haven't done, church post-production. If y'all haven't seen that, I haven't done it in a while. and I make different keys so that they don't change. So when you make a key, say we create one, so you can give it whatever. So typically I would come in here and say, let's just make one for this one. So they AJaytheCEO. And here you can give it a description, but then what is it that you have set? So typically I come in here and turn this on, and my web presenter one is at 4K. So it has that, it knows the bit rate that it's looking for. But if you haven't set anything like that, it does a variable one. I would say try and come in here, set this to this bit rate, 1080p and 3000 to 6000. Turn on 60 frames per second if you're doing 60 frames a second, and use that one. And change your settings to match inside of this kilobits per second and see if you still get the same issue. That's the first thing I would check on that. And again, that's once you start to do a live stream on YouTube, you can go under the streaming key and you can make a new one. That's where that setting is. But I would try that because I personally have not used one. That's interesting because I think honestly at that price you can almost get an A10 Mini Pro ISO, A10 Mini Extreme ISO, or even one of the standalones that could do something like that. But I don't know. I do like the fact that it has HDMI in and SDI in, so that's really cool. But I have not seen that, so thank you for letting me know about that. Francis, do you know of any ideas of how to hang a shelf on a wall without drilling into the wall and it still being stable for receivers? Now that I think about it again, you could get a board and get some L brackets that will support it, and then use some command strips to hold that the initial shelf. I would not do that though, especially if you're going to put equipment on that. So that's just my personal opinion. Demetrius, hey AJ, is there a way to connect two PCs together? One is a streaming OBS and the other for presenter. NDI does not work on my church PCs. Not sure why. It depends on the version of NDI. NDI 5 has made something to where you have to do like different security things and stuff like that. And I've had similar issues. So if I come over here back to my computer and I go into opening NDI, they have a bunch of other things that you can mess around with. And where's it at? That's not it. Yes, the access manager. So first it's requiring administration access. That's the first thing. And then sometimes you can come in here and say you want to set up groups, how you want to receive stuff. You might want to give certain permissions. Make sure if you're on Windows that you get that firewall protection message that's saying give access. I've seen that happen a couple of times. Trying to run OBS or whatever program in, well, the first thing I would do is in this, you also have Studio Monitor. So this is the test. So let me actually turn my other camera on. Okay, that one is not working. Oh, hold on a second. All right, so I'm gonna turn that on. So what I normally test this to see if it's a Windows issue or it's NDI in general. Typically, the Studio Monitor does not care. It will just see whatever without any main restrictions. So what I would do is open up Studio Monitor on the computer that's running OBS and just see if anything shows up. So there's my camera. I don't know why it's upside down. Oh, there it goes. So, yay. So that's the first thing, and this is the tracking one. Yay, peace. And stuff like that. So that works. If you see in the Studio Monitor, it shows up, but it doesn't show up in OBS, try and launch OBS as an administrator and see if that works. That's what I've had as an issue before. I always use that Studio Monitor as my go-to as a test. Because if I can see it over the Studio Monitor, then it's something else with like OBS that's causing that issue. Let's Let's see. I don't know what page I'm on. All right, page 2. Streets of Destiny, what's up? Mike is saying he is upgrading his streaming PC from a Skylake i7 to a Ryzen 7 5700 with a RTX 3060 Ti, and says that the CPU usage in OBS isn't over 24%. That's awesome. Mike Jones, I have a HuddleCam serial controller joystick with a data video camera and an AVCAM's SDI. How can I connect both cameras to the joystick when the data video does have the daisy chain 8-pin? Well, again, the daisy chain, the RS-232 or Visca protocol, that is a standard. As long as the camera supports it and you have the jacks on the back of your camera, you can daisy chain each one. You just have to make sure you turn the setting on. I keep getting these backwards without me looking at it. It's either you have to set it in the menu to serial or parallel. I think it's parallel, to where it will send the signal to each one. That's how they're daisy chained. So, I mean, I've done that at Antioch. I did that at Spring Creek, but we just recently replaced their joystick to an IP one. But originally, we had the same HuddleCam version 3 joystick in a daisy chain from one camera to each one. And we went from an SMT AV to a PTZ Optics to a SMT to a AVCAMs, and they all worked because it's the protocol that's the same. That's all that matters. So as long as it supports the protocol, yes, you can daisy chain them together. Lynn, a new subscribers YouTube member. So again, thank you for that. Your videos have been super helpful and have helped me solve most of my ATEM and OBS issues. However, the audio stream to Facebook is horrible as we use several different mics and settings. Okay, how is all your audio coming in? Is all of it uniform coming into the ATEM, or are you having that audio going into OBS? Now, again, I will also say Facebook is doing some crazy stuff with its audio. When we stream, sometimes the audio is sped up and slows down. It just sounds kind of crazy. And I know it's on Facebook side because we stream to multiple platforms at the same time. Website doesn't have an issue. YouTube doesn't have an issue. Facebook is the only one that speeds up and slows down the audio. I don't know what that is, but let me know the full setup and we'll see. Actually, if I went further, I forgot to mention I'm using the ATEM Mini, but just upgraded to the ATEM Mini Pro ISO. So is all your audio going into a mixer and then going to the ATEM, or is the audio going from the mixer directly to the computer running OBS? And which one is handling the streaming, the ATEM Mini Pro or OBS? John, I would completely agree. That's why most of my streaming systems, I went from the Ryzen 3 2200. They don't make a Ryzen 3 5000 series, so that's why I've always been using the Ryzen 5 5600G, and it has been rock solid for anything like that. Mousy, good morning. Let's see where I jumped to. Then Daryl was saying, hope you enjoyed your vacation. I'm planning on doing a vacation soon. I'm thinking about doing some vlogging. How can I create everything I need? What do you need? I mean, like in aspect, are you talking about for the vlogging, or what are you talking about? Because most of the time I've actually scaled down how I do a lot of my videos now. I don't do a lot of graphics and stuff like that because it just took so much time. And I realized it doesn't, at least for me and my audience, it doesn't mean that much. Unless y'all tell me it does. But I don't know. I mean, most of the time I have the same mindset that I do at church. I try and record it as best as I possibly can so that there's very little I have to do. Like, for example, when I was doing all the stuff at Good Shepherd the last 2 days of doing their 2 confidence monitors and their future digital walls, that there was an issue with the ACH. So I had to wire them the money. LED Nation, they got it. So I'm waiting to get the confirmation of when they're going to ship. I'm thinking I should get it maybe Wednesday or Thursday, and we'll start working on it. I want to knock that out because I got a whole bunch of stuff I got to do. So we'll see. But anyway, I try and simplify as much as I do. And most of the time, I'm just adding my name, might have a description if there's some text that I may have misspoke inside the video. But especially from a vlogging standpoint, it's mainly the experience, as well as my videos. It's the experience of showing so everybody can see. I've had a bunch of awesome folks tell me how come I'm doing this. I was like, because this is how I do stuff. I show my ups and downs through the entire process. That's just my style. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. Trying to be nice, not trying to be mean, but at the same time, I can't change my content to match everybody. You're never going to be able to do that. But anyway, I need to know what you mean by everything that you need. Let's see. Make sure I got this from some. Man, an awesome name. Can't pronounce it right. So, but which would you recommend for a small church? A10 Mini, A10 Mini Pro, A10 Mini Pro ISO for video encoding? Honestly, none of them. I would do an A10 Mini Extreme. Because all of those A10 Mini you can get, but it doesn't give you any type of functionality as in a multi-view. The A10 Mini Pro and the Pro ISO, they can handle streaming, but again, they give you multi-view or full screen, not both. The ISO will also give you ability to record every single track. I use the A10 Mini ISO when I go on events like I'm doing weddings or something like that I don't have to present to anybody. For a church, because I've seen this way too many times, get the A10 Mini Extreme, and it just sets you up in the future. You have your multi-view, and you have an output. You have a USB connection for recording and a USB connection to your computer. It just sets you up in the future, and you can have 4. So if it was my choice, every single church since the A10 Mini Extreme have came out, I have never recommended anything less than that, just because every other church that went less than that, they all upgraded to something like the A10 Mini Extreme or higher. That's personally what I would recommend. And then the second part of that question, also, can I connect multiple phones to the A10 Mini encoder for live streaming? The A10 Mini Extreme with the 2 USBs, yes, you can, but it can only use one at a time. Mike, vacations are great, but you pay for it when you get back. Yeah, that's what's all about, developing a team, so you don't have to hit with so much. Bruce, hello. John, another one who was on our cruise. I'm going, Agent, I hope you have recovered from the cruise. I'm still working on trying to get back down to my pre-cruise weight. Hey, understood. We ate good. We ate real good. I don't think I posted any pictures. I mean, to y'all on YouTube. I mean, we had some good vittles, some groceries, or that some people call it. Let me see. Trying to find some good pictures here so I can show y'all if y'all never been on a cruise. So that was I forgot. What was that? Pistachios? It was that was almonds on like a chocolate bun cake and some cream. Then we had some lasagna. Then that was, I forgot what type. That was a pan-seared fish. I forgot the type it was, with a hollandaise sauce, I believe. What else? That was a curry, lamb curry. There's also herb-crusted salmon. That was just some grilled tiger shrimp, Caesar salad. That was a shrimp and mussels Alfredo linguine. And that was it. So this was one of the tables. We had 2 tables between both of us because our party of 20. So it was real fun. And if you didn't know, I always tell everybody, when you go on a cruise, you can ask for more food. So they'll give you like 5 items. You can't ask for all 5. You can. Because you got to think, they don't know what you're going to pick, so they have to have enough for everybody. So I tell everybody that, they're like, really? And after I tell everybody that, everybody's always ordering everything. So real cool. Back to Francis. AJ, is there a way to split the USB output of the A10 Mini Pro to send to 2 computers? No, you cannot split it that way. It's like one way when it comes to, it's only going to be detected by one system. Another reason why I always say the A10 Mini Extreme, this system in front of me is connected over one USB. My streaming system has the second USB. So I'm able to connect two systems that way. Michelle Henry, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Good morning, AJ. Hope you enjoyed your cruise. Also having cache full issues on the A10 Mini Pro. Began 3 weeks ago. My upload speed is 40 megabits. We use Restream, very frustrating. Any ideas? Yeah, I don't know. I'll be quite honest. Like, I've been monitoring the A10 Mini Pro right now, that's streaming this, and it's not doing anything. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if it's hardware related or network. I mean, I just don't know. And I agree with you from the frustration. I remember I was doing all of this with the web presenter to do all my live streams at 4K, and it was never an issue. And now it's a problem. I don't know. But I'll let you know when we can find something. You know who I am. Good morning. I'm looking to add something new to my live stream setup. One of three. Hyperdeck, ATEM streaming bridge, or Hyperdeck shuttle. Can you explain what each does and what value? Well, the Hyperdeck is less a recorder, but it can also play back. That's what I have on mine. I never did a review of it, but I use that to do my recordings. That is, can I move my monitor out of the way? I was going to say the joystick seemed like it was acting up, going in the opposite direction. So there's my Hyperdeck Shuttle HD right here that I use to do my recordings. Because sometimes, again, in the approach of how I'm doing my videos now, I try not to do a lot of ISO recording. I just record it the way I need to. And if I mess up, I tell myself, hey, AJ, cut this part, start all over again. And I just keep recording. And so I keep that over there, and I don't use the ISO that much. You can use it for that. Now, let me bring back up your comment here. The streaming bridge is more for covering distance. So like at Spring Creek, we just replaced this. Instead of running wires to the TV that's in the baptismal area, we have a streaming bridge hooked up to the TV. So the ATEM streams to that. So that's what gives the signal to that TV. So we can just use network to do that. I used to have a streaming bridge when I was in my apartment, but I don't need that right now. If I did one, it would be, I have the streaming bridge actually here downstairs, and I'll have my ATEM upstairs, ATEM Mini Pro, stream to it, which would send a signal to this. This is just for like if you want to cover distance and there's no way to physically connect that stuff together. That's for the streaming bridge. And the Hyperdeck shuttle is just the bigger version of the Hyperdeck, because you have the Hyperdeck shuttle, the bigger Hyperdeck, and then you have the Hyperdeck HD, which is the one that I have. The Hyperdecks are for me for just main thing for recording and backing up stuff. So yeah, here we go. So I had to bring it up so we can show you. So these are the Hyperdecks. So you have the Hyperdeck Studio HD Mini, the Plus, all of these right here. And those are mainly for recording. And then I also have the Shuttle HD. That's the one that I use. It's just a smaller version for me to record what I have going on or play back. And it has a teleprompter all built in. I don't use any of those features. I play back some stuff, but like I can record this right now. So I'm going to record what I'm doing right now. And then stop. And then I'm going to play back the very same thing. And I doubt y'all would even know what it was. So this is a playback of what I just did. So that's what I use for recording. So it all depends. That's how I use it. I use this as redundancy for recording. And I'm actually looking at getting, where is it at? For the graduation, because I've had way too many issues that were outside of my control. I'm looking at getting one of these video assistants so that it's a monitor on the camera, but it also records, because I've had too many issues where I'm recording and I have multiple people operating cameras and I don't have access to both of them. They forgot to record on the camera. So we've lost a lot of stuff. So this is redundancy for me. I want to have it to where I can record on the camera. The output goes to this video assistant, record on that, then come back to my system. The ATEM ISO is recording, and I have the output being recorded on a hyperdeck. You start doing weddings, graduations and stuff, people are not really nice and forgiving if you forget to hit the record button. So I like to have multiple redundancy in place. E, thanks for the consultation. It was the best. It is worth it. Hey, you're welcome. Glad it helped. Angela, good morning. Good morning. Michael Baldwin, good morning, everyone. Blessed from the city of brotherly love. John, awesome. Thanks so much. Never knew that. Hey, you are welcome. Scott. Hello, Scott. How are you doing, sir? Mike, make sure your network is set to a private network in Windows for NDI, or it's not going to work at all. Thank you for that. Mike corrected me. That's 0.24%, not 24%. Oh, that's even lower. So that's awesome. He said his old system would get up run at 30% regulated. That's awesome. Back to You Know Who I Am. I currently have two setups, one with an ATEM Mini Pro and the second a stream. I'm trying to find a way to use my ATEM Mini Pro to do both Zoom and record. Is there a way, any crafty workaround? No. The only way you could do that is if you send the USB out from the ATEM into like OBS, let OBS record, or you can use kind of like how I do with the HyperDeck Shuttle, have the HDMI out from the ATEM recording what's going on, and then have the USB going into Zoom, and that's how Zoom sees it. That's the only thing I would do. Hey, you were fine, Lena. I appreciate it. You're good. Dante, upgrading from a Midas M32 to a Behringer Wing. Any recommendations for the learning curve or training? It is a learning curve. That's the whole thing. As best as I possibly can, I try and make a bunch of videos, even though we have these super audio tech people that are quick to tell me on my videos I don't know what I'm talking about. And my response is, you know what? That's right. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm making a video because there isn't anything out there. So if you know so much, why don't you make a video? If you can tell me what I'm doing wrong, you can make a video to say how it can be done. But most of the time, people don't respond to that. People are very quick to criticize when people actually do something, and they can always tell you what you're not doing right. But then when you suggest, why don't you show me? Then all of a sudden they get real quiet. Back to Lynn. The audio is being routed through a mixer into the ATEM. Well, then that's strange then. I'm leaning more towards than it might be Facebook, because if all the audio, I'm just a simple person. If the audio is working fine in one platform and it's not working fine on the other platform, it's the other platform and how they're processing it. I'd rather it be broke everywhere than not. So like the same reason why I got a problem with the ATEM Mini Pro. It's working fine right now, but then other times it would cash out. So I don't know. Let's see. Sean, how to figure out USB PTZ optics controller. Are you asking in reference to my other camera that I used? How to hook it up to the controller? Is that what you're asking? I want to make sure I get it straight before I try and answer that wrong. She's Destiny. I'm discovering from X32 to Mac using USB. Music is loud, but voice is low. Not sure how to increase volume. Sliders are good for in-house. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what's the volume slider on your Mac? I would assume that's up there as well too. That's why I kind of route mine into a fader so I can control it that way. How are you bringing it in? Is it just coming directly in, or what are you doing? Daryl, creating animated intro with uncopyrighted music. I got 2 wireless mics and a wired mic for backup and gimbal. Honestly, I used the stuff and surprisingly, I wasn't going to renew it. But Envato took my money out of my account and renewed it again because I didn't cancel it. So something like that. Video Hive, because actually I haven't done this in a while. Video Hive normally gives out free stuff every month, and I have not done this in like 4 months. So if we scroll all the way down to the bottom, they're giving out this stuff. So here's a website template, a resume template, music. What's this? Cinematic emotional. I can't hear nothing. It's not playing nothing. That's strange. I don't know why it's doing that. But then they also have this epic electric logo. Oh, see now I can hear that. But anyway, I would find something with a program that you can use, whether it be, they do have ones with DaVinci Resolve, but that's not a free one, or just find something in here that you like and that you have software for. After Effects, I mean, honestly, you can get After Effects, get a 7-day trial and make what you need. That's what I've done originally. I do have the account with them now. The monthly with them, I think it's like $19 just for After Effects, but honestly, I barely use it. That's what I've normally done. And I've tried to make the move to where I'm doing most of my stuff in DaVinci Resolve. So that's how I would do from a graphic standpoint. Videohive.net, or if you're going to use it perpetually, you can use Envato Elements. That's the one that I've had for like 3 years, and it looks like I got it for another year now. And this gives you access to anything in here. So I can download as much as I want. Sometimes this is the same company, so some of that stuff that's in Video Hive moves over here, and then it can become free. So that's what I would check out. It's Casey1. Is it Casey Neistat? But recently set up streaming and presentation computer to work remotely if needed. I'm getting sound if I was to play a video, but not if someone speaks into the microphone. Is it possible to get sound from the mics? So are you saying you're hearing audio from the computer when you're remoting in and not from the mic? One of the ways you can fix that, if you really want to, just got to be careful with it, is if you go here to your sound settings, and if it puts it on the right screen. So here are my mic settings. You can come down here to mic, and I'm not going to do this because it's going to blow y'all's eardrums out. But what you could do is come over here, and where is it at? I love how they keep changing stuff and didn't make it the way you really wanted it to. Let's see if we can go the old way. All sound devices. No. Stuff used to be so easy, and then they made so many changes. There was a setting where you could... There it is. All right. So inside of here, like if we wanted to go to this mic, as you can see, I'm talking. I can come in here and go to properties, and then you can check off listen. And if you check that off, then you'll be able to hear anybody that's talking. But just be mindful of that. If it's just for you, you should be good. But if you have this and it's routing all your sound, now you're going to start doubling over your sound. So I don't have that issue because I'm through my mixer, I'm hearing me talk. So I don't need to turn this on because an external device is doing that. But if you want to hear it, that's something that you might want to do so you can hear, and then just turn it off. It won't affect that much if it's just you listening on the other side. But if that mic is going somewhere else, it might double it over. So just be mindful of that. Shane and Hannah, hello. I am this close to just wanting to get on a plane and go over to London for me to get away. I know I've been saying that for years. I really want to because I need to get away. Ray L, hello. Thank you. E wants to know, are you selling the M32, Dante, if you're upgrading to the wing? Mitch Roy. Hey, AJ, what is the difference between streaming or recording at 60 frames per second and 30? It's just how many frames are in each second. So 24 typically is more that cinematic feel. 30 is okay. I personally do 60 just because like I'm so big on gaming that it was 60 frames a second. It makes it smooth. And then that's the same type of motion that I like from videos. I do most of my videos in 60. It just allows me to catch more. So if I want to slow 60 down, I have more frames. It looks good. Or like sometimes you record in 120 frames a second, it gives you a good slow motion because you have a lot of frames to slow down. If you slow down 24, there are no extra frames to use. And that's why it looks like this when you slow stuff down. It's just more of a preference. I personally, like I started using 60 frames a second at Antioch just because how Pastor Sales used to move all the time. He moved faster sometimes and it gave waves. So once I moved to 60, didn't have any issues. And I'm just in habit. I always push it to 60. If that's the max that the camera can support, I normally do it like that. And if people don't like it, because I know some churches, they like the cinematic look. That's cool. I'm not interested in that. That's just the difference. Back to you know who I am. Can you explain the setup of recording from an A10 Mini Pro output? This would go to OBS. So I'm guessing I would need a capture card, right? And would this be video and audio? No, you wouldn't have to worry about that at all. So if we open up, they've changed it now. It's diagrams.net. I think it's official that they've changed it over to that. Yep, it is, because even my app said it actually says both. So I don't know what they've done. So right here it says draw.io, but it is diagrams.net. But to your question, so if we have the A10 Mini Pro and we have a Computron right here, let's make this bigger so y'all can see. So for the A10 Mini Pro, and say we have a camera, and that's connected here. We know we use blue for our HDMI. And then I would say a microphono. Something like that for audio. That could be one mic, mixer, whatever the heck you want to use. It doesn't matter. So we got all of this, right? And you want to know about recording. So in this, we'll say this is OBS. This is connected over USB, which is going to show up like a webcam here on OBS, and that's going to bring in audio and video. You record here, it's going to take both of these. Now, if you didn't want to do that, if you wanted a capture card and you wanted that USB, now, when you do it this way, USB can only be used by one program from a video standpoint. So if OBS is using the Blackmagic's video and you want to go to, say, Zoom. Do I have a Zoom icon here? No. Let's do a cloud. And we'll say this is Zoom. So for Zoom, which is going to be a program running on here, it can't use the video because OBS is using it. So that's where we use the OBS virtual camera. And Zoom can see that, and then Zoom can use audio. Audio can be split and shared between multiple programs. Video cannot. So that's one way you can do this, and then this could be recording. Now, the setup I proposed that makes it separate, and this is how I use it. This is the HyperDeck, and this setup is still the same, or you wouldn't even need this to go to OBS. It all depends, but the HDMI out from here is set to program. So that's a program out, because again, this is the A10 Mini Pro. You only have program out or multi-view out. Then this is doing the recording, and then now you don't need to use OBS. This could just be Zoom directly, and then you don't need to do anything else. This is recording everything that's coming through here. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if I'm off base of what you were looking for. And I'm looking to get to travel all in one case built for my ATEM and ATEM Mini Stream. When I do events, I have to carry so much gear. It takes like an hour to set up. Yeah, I totally understand. I did the same thing when I went down to North Carolina. Rodney, good morning, AJ. I'm currently using OBS to stream, but I'm thinking about using one of the browser-based softwares, Restream, StreamYard, etc. Can you share what would be the pros and cons? The pros and cons of it, if you use a web-based one, it's going to be using your computer to leverage the processing. That web base is just to take that off. So if you want to add more kilobits or whatever, it's going to be dependent on your system. Honestly, Restream, now that Restream has added a component kind of like StreamYard, there's really no difference. It's just that they're doing the heavy lifting, and any type of extra tweaking, leveraging your CPU, GPU, all this other stuff, you don't have any control of that. But honestly, at this point, none of them are different, except for features. Back to Lynn, does the ATEM Mini Pro ISO have better sound filters, audio filters, and compressors than the first generation? Yeah, the first generation didn't have any of that at all. You do have some extra functionality in there. So like, for example, if I come over here and let's say I want to go to audio, I do have some extra stuff in here. So you could add a few things here, kind of like the same thing from DaVinci Resolve, that you can add some compressors, gates, limits, and things like that on each one of these. You can EQ it if you want to. Yeah, so it does give you more control than the ATEM Mini did. That was added to the Pro line. John, when you are streaming at 60 frames per second, what bit rate are you using? Well, for me, at my church, when I'm streaming it, that I'm using 5,000 kilobits per second. That's what the computer at Signs and Wonders is working at. I haven't done it in a minute because I kind of left them to their own devices after I left. Turned over the responsibility of streaming over there to Antioch. But let's see. I think I recall what their stuff is. I haven't remoted into the system in like almost a year. So let's see. I can tell if they've, yeah, they haven't even done an update, so I'll leave that alone. But let me see. Yeah, theirs is at 5,000 as well too. And I think that's mainly limited because of the internet speed there. So like, for example, let's do a speed test here and let's see. Plus, anyway, you saw earlier on when I did the stream key going to YouTube, they at 1080p, they're only expecting 3,000 to 6,000. So anything higher than that, it doesn't really matter. Just realize that 60 frames a second means now your computer is sending double the information if you were streaming from 30. So it just has to be capable of handling that. So it's putting 50 kilobits worth of data into each one. And so you can see at 5,000, that's 5 megabits per second upload speed. And even with all of this Comcast, Comcast, yeah, that's it. Even with this bundle, they're still not offering a speed higher than like 25. So even if I cranked it up to 10,000, it's going to be a waste because YouTube ain't going to use none of the rest of that stuff anyway. So that's what I typically use. And then with the ATEM, even when I'm streaming right now, I have the vMix that doesn't let me do 4K. So I'm topped out with 6 megabits per second for what y'all are watching right now. Anthony, good morning, AJ and crew. My ATEM Mini stream is not being recognized by my network. Tried it in a PoE switch and direct from the router, but it's not reading. Uninstalled and reinstalled. I would verify your hold on, let me restart this. I've had that issue before. So when you desktop here. Come on. So we come back over here to the desktop. One of the things that I've done is, where's my, oh. Go down here to, first we need to go into our setup. And then, like right now, see, mine is saying it doesn't have a network connection, which is super crazy because it should. So like right now, it says that I'll have a network connection, but it says it's not connected to it. Wait a minute, that's, because this was left over when I did this stuff in North Carolina. No wonder it doesn't have a network connection. There we go. Now we have a network connection. So I would say make sure that it's not set to mobile. Make sure it's set to Ethernet. Play back and forth. Try and switch it to a static IP address and then put in an IP address that's on your network and see, can you ping it that way? So like right now, if I ping this, ping 192.168.0.254. So I'm getting a response. So I would put a static IP address in here, put it to something that's on your network, try and ping it. Does it respond? That's the first thing I would try. If you have anything other than that, then we might have to look into something else to do. Because see, there's the other one. And yeah, it's on the network. So that's the first thing I would try if you're still having that issue. S. Copeland, how do you link Stream Deck with OBS to just push a button to launch intro? You have to set all of that. So for example, let's go back over to the desktop, get rid of that. And I have my Stream Deck. First, make sure you have your Stream Deck installed and all the software and all this other gobbledygook. And they've since added an OBS component here directly. So make sure that's turned on, and you just got to make sure. Why do they have all this stuff on here I don't need? Hold on, let me turn off some of this stuff. I don't need voice mod, don't need Tyler. Don't need that, don't need that. They added stuff for pro presenter, excuse me. Navigation, volume control, man, they added so much stuff I don't need. So anyway, we have OBS here. Make sure you have that, and this talks directly to OBS. So for example, let's open up OBS and say we want to make a change. So I have OBS over here. And let me link this to a camera so we can actually do something. I don't know why my NDI stuff is not working. All right, I'll just use this camera for right now because I know this isn't going to change. And it's laggy because it's going over the network. You'll see me wave here shortly. Yeah. So now that I got this, we're going to go into our Stream Deck software and say we want to make a change. So say I want to do source visibility. So I'm just going to take this, drag it over to this button here that's empty, and see it read OBS. OBS has to be open for it to pick this up. So what is my scene? My scene is streaming right here. What is my source? That is PTZ1. And I just want to call this cam power. I don't know. I just call it that. Then I can always pick a different icon if I want to. So now that I got this, I'm just going to go here and press the button now on the Stream Deck. Let me bring this down so you can see me touching it. You're going to see it inside of OBS because it's, there it goes. Come on. All right, so you're going to see me hit it, and now you're going to see it turn off. So if I hit this now, see, you see it turned off the source. I turn it back on. Sure, it's taking a minute. There it goes. So that's how I've set it. And I've done this with other things. I've had it do, you can make the setting for scenes. So I can come in here, set another one for scenes and say, what do I want it to do? Oh, I want it to change. Actually, that's collections. So that's up here. That's not the one I wanted, but that's new. They didn't have that originally. I want to change this to a scene. So in here, I can say, oh, I want to switch it to starting soon. So now when I hit that button, it goes to a starting soon scene. That's how you would set that up. So hopefully that makes sense. And I need to delete these so I don't hit these by accident. Philip Pohl. Hey, AJ, watching from Malaysia. Just finished doing live stream at church and pack up. Awesome, awesome. Otis from Texas, how you doing, sir? Robert. Hey, AJ, do you use any automation for ProPresenter that makes things easier for your volunteers? Yes, I do. I have it set for anytime we go between different scenes, it will automatically do some stuff. Like the simplest thing that I have set up is it automatically starts my countdown clock, because a lot of times people will forget to do that. So if I remote in, and I need to get the right monitor. So when I open this up, a lot of the automations are simple that I do, and it reminds me I need to let my pastor know we need to renew our ProPresenter license. Man, I remember when it used to be free. Then they moved it to $60 a year. Now it's like $120 a year. So like some of the automations. So the first thing, since we opened it, see, it started my countdown. That's a macro that I set that once this opens, it automatically does that. So if I go through our layout of service, I've set up a lot of quote unquote automations so that a lot of things don't have to happen. So when we go to visitors, see, I have these little automations on each one of the scenes so that, like, for example, when we do our countdown, I have one on here. So this screen right here is the digital wall. This is the output that's going to the ATEM. So I used to have it do a different format, and that's what that used to be. So now when we do, say, I changed this, and let me bring up a scripture so you can see how this difference would be. So typically we would have scripture like this. So it would show the same, but sometimes if we were doing lower thirds, see, it would output in this format. And hopefully y'all can see that. I can't make this screen any bigger. So it would do this form. Actually, I can't make it bigger. So I would have this automation like this so that when it was done, we would have video, text over video, so people could see that, but then on the live stream. But in-house, it would always be big like this. We used to do that, and every time we would go to a certain scene, it would change. That would be our typical format. But if we wanted to do announcements, instead of having people come in here and make sure they check it, change the appearance back to full screen and all this other stuff, I just put that inside of each slide. So as you can see, it's split in its different format layout. We now go to welcome visitors. See, now it automatically changes the look so that it works full screen for both. And if we go to like our newsroom, it would do the same thing. So it would automatically switch back to full screen so that I didn't have to keep reminding everybody, make sure you check this off. So as long as somebody doesn't come in here and change that, that will always work. We do the same thing for our songs as well too. So anytime the praise team comes in and does a new song, we have it set up the same way to where if, let me see if I can find a song here. Like I say, bring over Holy Spirit. So if I come in here, as you can see, this one has not been done in that way. So what I typically do on each song is do the same thing. So we set that this is always going to be full screen. That's the level of automation I've done, because we don't use anything fancier than that at Signs and Wonders. So maybe we might add some stuff later, but as of right now, that's the level of stuff that we do. And the computer crashed. It gave me an error on here. Hold on 1 second. What is this? Oh, well, we'll come back to that. I'll deal with it Sunday. Anthony, How do I display live video in front of house but not use the live stream video? Right now, we're set to show just presentation software, but they're wondering if we can show live images as well. Well, what's your presentation software, Anthony? That's kind of like how I have it Signs and Wonders. Because of the ATEM and the Extreme and the two outputs, our presentation ProPresenter system can pick up the feed from the ATEM, and since ProPresenter is the only thing that's connected to those screens, we just connect and bring in our video over USB, and then we have a video input, and then we can show live video. Anything that's coming from the ATEM, we can do that. Just don't show itself on itself, meaning that don't pick ProPresenter on the ATEM and have ProPresenter looking at ProPresenter, because then the video will go green because it's showing itself. But that's how we get around that. I need to know how you have everything set up, and then I can be more specific. You know who I am? Yes, it's a great explanation. Both will work. So technically, there's a crafty workaround in using the ATEM Mini Pro to do both Zoom and record. I don't have the HyperDeck though. Yeah, honestly, just if you just only have OBS, just send it into OBS. OBS will record. Use a virtual camera to send that to be your camera inside of Zoom. And I mean, I've done a bunch of videos on that, Ash Wednesday and everything, and that's the easiest way to do it. Nothing else is needed. Just let OBS is just a pass through, just to record. Back to John. Do you use any variable bitrate key in YouTube or fixed bitrate key? Most of the time I've done variable because sometimes like YouTube wouldn't like it. The main thing I do is I set my resolution and then I set variable, and I always turn on 60. That's what I do. Unless I know that I know it's not going to change. Dr. Philip Paul. Hey, AJ, is there a way to play video looping with HDMI input to the ATEM, or like from an Ethernet port without using a laptop or PC due to not enough space? Is there a way to play video looping with a HDMI input to? I guess I'm not understanding. I mean, if you're playing something, like if I wanted to play just a video that's looping, either I can just have it loop inside of my presentation software, and then that's coming into the ATEM, then I would loop. If you have a DVD player or whatever type of media player that's connected over HDMI, typically that should have some type of loop, and then it will just repeat. So something like that, like if I had just an external player, like a Raspberry Pi or something like that, or anything like a DVD player or something like that, and yes, the looping would be on that input. It's not that the ATEM can control that looping in any way. Back to Lynn. Hey, AJ, is there a good application or website that will allow you to pull up scriptures quickly when you're adding them to live streaming broadcast? Honestly, I personally would use a presentation software, but if you're looking for a website one, the first thing I would recommend is using the First Fruits if you're using OBS, because that's the only way I can integrate it technically for your live stream. I need to know, what are you talking about? Are you talking about just pulling it up so you can copy and put it in a slide, or are you looking for a web-based presentation software that just shows scripture like full screen? I'm not aware of something like that, but if anybody wants to be a programmer, I think that would be a great idea to offer a complete web-based presentation software that you can just open up a browser and it puts it out full screen. I just gave somebody a multi-million-dollar idea right there. So I'm not aware of it, but I need to know in the context of how you're using it. Back to Anthony. Do you know if OBS has different downloads for Apple computers? Download it for 2019 MacBook Pro, and the day it was as if it got erased. I'm not letting me put it. Yeah, they do. They do have downloads. I don't know if they've updated it anymore. They had downloads for depending on the processor that's inside of OBS. I don't know how much they're keeping up with that. So like if we go here to Mac, yeah, they still have it in its version 29.1. That is the latest version. So it just depends on that. So as of currently, yes, they do support both. Oh, also I need to a little PSA. I have a lot of older people that do this. If they open up a browser, this is what they do. I'll say, hey, go to Facebook, and they'll do this. And of course, it's going to do it right now. So let me see if I can do it how they do it. They'll do Facebook like this, then click. Don't do that. The reason I say don't do that is most people are not aware. So like, say if I go to Blackmagic ATEM, if I type that up here, what's the first thing that comes up? A sponsored link. What's been happening, and OBS has been a victim of this. People have been making faux websites that look just like OBS or different products, and they pay for a sponsor link, so it puts it up here at the top, and it takes you to a place that looks real, but you're downloading some junk that will infect your computer. If you're going to Facebook, I would hope everybody would know to type in facebook.com. Don't do it in a search. Type it directly, because the searches can take you anywhere, because you can see right here, sponsored link, sponsored link. You're not getting to a real link until right here, the third one down. And some people just don't pay attention to that a lot of the links that first show up are not real links. They're sponsored links, which can take you anywhere. So if you have any of the older saints doing that, or if y'all are doing that, don't do that. You get yourself in trouble with that. Carlos, hey, AJ, what system can I use to distribute the front of house video for the installation? What's your setup? I need a little bit more context. I mean, there's a bunch of ways for video. I mean, you can do it over Ethernet. You can do it over fiber optic HDMI. You can do it over SDI. You can use HD-Base-T. Kind of need to know what your initial is and what equipment to suggest, because you have multiple options on what you could do with that. Back to Anthony regarding showing front of house video. We're using Presenter from Worship Tools. Okay. How to display a video? So Worship Tools has the same thing. They do have a webcam interface. So let me open this up and let's see. Let's walk through it together, shall we? And Presenter has so many updates. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Every time I open it, it's like an update is going on. So it's doing one right now. Give me a half a second for this to finish up. And now that we are in here, let's see. So like if I do a new queue list, see, I can do video feed. I can pull it directly from here. And I'm not going to do an audio source. And why am I not getting anything? Oh, I am getting something. It was ProPresenter is blocking my screen. I got too many things open. Hold on. Let's close this. Let me get my monitor set. That's on. There we go. All right, so now you can see it. So I'm going to switch over to it real quick because it's going to go to infinity here for a second. See, it's going green because I'm looping itself on top of itself. That's the only reason why. So it is showing it from here. So that's the weirdest way for me to show you. So it is bringing that in. I just can't show it without showing it. So, and I have, wait a minute, now my light is blocking this, so you won't be able to see it. But yeah, it does have this input. If I go back to my queue list, there it goes. That's easier way. So you see it's bringing in. I could do it the same way. So if I did this, now how would this work over, let's try this because I haven't done it this way. So let's say, not games, James 1, and then let's search Let's do it in a lower third format. And so y'all can't see it, but it is bringing video over top. So that's interesting. Now I wish I can have my camera is blocking it so you can't see it. Let me actually let me change to this camera. And then I'm going to change my window so you can see it, what it looks like. So we're going to change our multi-view to number 4. So there it goes. So this is the full output coming from Presenter. So it's bringing in the video over USB, putting that as the background, and then putting lyrics over top of it. So that's how that would work. So let me switch it back to program so I won't mess myself up. So hopefully that helps there. I haven't tried that, so that was cool. That was cool that it actually worked right then when I did it. Because if I switch back over here, I don't know if you can see it here in the lower left. It's doing the same thing. So really, really cool. And I keep forgetting the commands that they have to turn this off and stuff like that. Roy X23. We use NDI to send one computer's display to OBS on another computer, but it's always lagging about 2 seconds. Is there something faster? The computers are networked. Unfortunately, no. I would say go into your settings for the NDI on the source, and you can change the bit rate of what is used. So that way you may be able to lower it so it's not sending as much data. I'm trying to find. Trying to find it under my windows here. NDI, where's it at? NDI tools. And capture. All right, so now that I got capture, let me go back to my desktop here. And all right, here's capture. So we can come in here to capture settings, frame rate. So you can play around with how much data is there. It used to be a different setting. It used to change how much data is actually being sent through the video. Did they move that to something else? Let's see. Not bridge, not capture, remote connection manager. I don't think that's it, but it's no harm in looking. Yeah, I don't know. It used to be a setting where you can say how much data is being sent. I don't know where that is now. If it's behind, typically it's either how much data is being sent and your network can't handle that and it's just slow, or it's your computer is slow in decrypting, not decrypting, but unencoding the video that's coming through NDI. That's the only thing I can think of without really digging in a little bit deeper with that. Carlos wants to know, how can I record from the Ultra Studio? We have the ATEM Studio 4K. I have not used the Ultra Studio, but let me see. He said from the Ultra Studio. All right, so Carlos, let me know if I'm off base on the model. That's the Ultra Studio 4K. And typically the Ultra Studio is just like, it's like just a bigger version of a capture card that's over Firewire, USB, or Lightning cable that will show up on built-in multi-format hardware encoder. Well, that's a hardware encoder. I need to look on the back so I can actually. So Thunderbolt, USB, HDMI in, out. Yeah, I don't know if this one actually lets you record. I thought the Ultra Studio is just an encoder. Well, this one has an SD card on the front. I don't know. Kind of hard. I haven't worked with this, so I can't tell you exactly um about that one. So sorry about that one. I don't know on this one. Terry Ray, hey AJ, can you show custom lower thirds files with the ATEM? Not directly. The ATEM, the lower models, the extreme, until you get to the ME switchers, they can't play videos. So the way you would have to do something like that is either play it through like the hyperdeck shuttle, and layer it over top of it. Make sure you have transparencies in your lower thirds, and I've done a video talking about that. Or you use a presentation software to play your lower thirds into the ATEM, and then you set that input to be the DSK to sit over top of your live video. So no, you can't play videos directly into the ATEM, but you can play it through a different input and layer it. Steve, welcome back from your vacation, AJ. I pray your batteries are recharged. What is this recharge thing that you speak of? But thank you. I do need to do something else. I'm thankful just for, real talk, folks. I'm really thankful for so much other stuff going on. So I don't ever want it to come off that we all have life going on, and some stuff is harder than others. But I'm making it a personal, and it's a struggle. It's a personal thing to not let the negatives in life, the things I don't like, outweigh all the blessings that God has blessed me with. So like, I think I've said it, but I'll say it again officially. May 19th of this month, I will be given an honorary doctorate. So it'll be Dr. AJ Holmes, or to quote my dad's title, he was Reverend Dr. Arthur A. Holmes Sr. Now it's just going to be not a Reverend, but it'll be Dr. Arthur A. Holmes Jr. So I am beyond thankful about that making some YouTube videos and teaching y'all would put me on a radar to where a seminary school would give me an honorary doctorate. It's something I never dreamed of. Or being able to help and reach and impact, and being so, I just had a lot of rough things going on, but then I had a whole bunch of consultations right when I got back from different range of people. Was one of them. And just for them to, y'all don't know how much the word of encouragement y'all said to, when in life you have a lot of people that will say that you're not enough, or give you the feeling that you're not enough, or more importantly, and well, actually more unfortunately, sometimes we tell ourselves that we're not enough. And then to have people I've never met say that, everything I've learned from you, or you've helped this, you've inspired me this, you've encouraged me to do this, stuff that I did not know because I didn't know y'all. So I say all that, and I don't know why I went on this tangent, but everybody's got stuff going on, and it's just that I'm making it a conscious effort, and it is a minute-by-minute struggle to focus on all the blessings that are going on, that it could have been a different way, but just thankful for this stuff in spite of everything going on. It's like energy flows where attention goes. So if I'm always focusing on everything I don't have, that means that's what you want. And I just want to focus on hey, look at all the stuff God's got me through. And just like David, I have to, when rough stuff's going on, like right now, rough stuff is going on in all aspects of my life. I have to just go back like David and say, well, God got me through this. He's blessed me with this. He's blessed me with this. He's helped me through this. He worked this situation out. He don't change. So if he did it then, just remember that and just focus on doing what you do. So that's why it's rough. Just being real. It's rough for me to do this live stream right now, but it helps me get my mind off of everybody else. If I gets myself off of me, and if I can help somebody else, it makes my day go easier. So that's why I love doing what I do. I love helping y'all, and then it just helps me by keeping my mind busy to not just dwell on idly on all this other stuff that I can't do anything about. It says cast your cares on him. So that's what we're doing. So anyway, little ministry moment where I had on my head. But back to Demetrius, can you live stream from Presenter? No, Presenter does not have that functionality. Tangela Brown. I haven't used it much, but there is a web-based program called Bible Show that quickly shows scriptures on the screen. Have you used or heard of it? I've heard of it, but I have not played around with it. I remember somebody talking about it. It was like it's the actual downloaded version because I'm looking at it right here. Unless this is something different. I have messed with this one. I didn't know if it was a web-based one, but it says live. Oh, well, here you go. No, that's Bible. Oh, Lord. That blew my eardrums out. I didn't know that was going to be video. But no, I haven't. I've used that one and played around because there was a ministry that used it, but not sure of a complete web-based one where there's no download. Everything is done that way. Steve, which presentation software would you recommend if you want to output lyrics full screen to the front TVs from a laptop and lower thirds to a separate? Honestly, as much as I don't like it from a price standpoint up front, but it's cheaper than the recurring ones, it'll be ProPresenter. Because ProPresenter would give you the built-in NDI functionality as well as physical connections and multiple stuff in one payment compared to like Presenter and some other ones. There's either a monthly fee or something like that would give you that. And then I've used the other ones in Media Shout, Bible Show, Proclaim. I'm just not happy. Easy Worship. I'm just not happy with them. I've used them over years, and out of all of them, Presenter for entry, when you want to start doing advanced stuff, ProPresenter. That's just my choice and what I've used. Philip Paul, hey AJ, can I live stream and record through the Ethernet port? No, you can't do that. Well, actually, can you live stream and record through the Ethernet port? Actually, yes, you can. Streaming, yes, through the Ethernet port. Recording, I'm not. I thought there was a way that you could do that, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to say I'm not sure on that one. And then a follow-up question. Regarding my question earlier, video looping, such as intro, would a mini PC work like dual core or higher? Yes, that would work for that. Thank you, sir. And I didn't even notice the time. But yeah, I think that's about it, folks. I gotta head over to the VA because they never sent me some stuff that I need. And thankfully the VA is not that far away. But hey, if no one's ever told you, thank you for everything that you're doing, folks. Be on the lookout. If you are not a part of the Facebook group, please join that because all of our information, our travel information, vacation stuff, plus association with a whole bunch of other ministries that have your equipment and stuff like that is there. So all you got to do is go to Facebook, look up Modern Media Ministry Made Easy, answer the 3 questions. Don't post no silly stuff, no spam, no live streaming and stuff like that, and you're good to go. And I think we will have a roundtable this Sunday. Been so busy with stuff running around, so we will have one this Sunday, but be aware I do have commitments now that happen on Sunday, so we are going to be moving our roundtable to a different day. We might play with a couple of days. It might be on a Monday coming up soon, or Saturday, or it might just be like on a Friday like this late. I know some people do stuff on Friday, some people don't. I don't typically do anything on Fridays, so might try some on different days, and let majority wins on what day we do something. But we will have a roundtable this Sunday. Information is on the Facebook group if you want to be a part of that. If you've never been a part of one, I think you might enjoy it. We talk about a lot of stuff, and you're talking with other like-minded people that have kingdom mindset focus. So like, we'll stop the whole conversation. If somebody needs prayer, that's what we do. If there are moments and I feel God's tugging on me to say, hey, we need to raise money for this, and this, we do that. Again, don't think you can just come in there and say, hey, I want a new 8K camera. No, it don't work like that. But it's meant for us to, the whole purpose of that group is to bring a bunch of like-minded people together, because when I was doing this, I felt like I was by myself and no one did any of this stuff. And I didn't know of any group. We set one up. So anyway, thank you so much, folks. And if nobody's told you, thank you for everything that you're doing. Something would be missing if you weren't there. So it doesn't matter if the people around you give you this feeling that you're not important. You are, because you're there, because God called you to be there. And it doesn't matter if anybody else doesn't understand. God will make a way. I know that. I'm trying to tell myself that every single day. So again, appreciate you, love you for all the hard work you're doing. And thank you for everything that you're doing. So y'all have a great day, evening, afternoon, wherever you is. And we'll be catching y'all on the next video, folks, later.